Hello Golden State Warriors fans. We are here once again to bring you the latest news related to our team, and I would like to emphasize how committed we are to improving our performance to achieve great results. Before we dive into this intriguing news, I kindly request you to show your support by clicking the like button, and if you are not yet subscribed to our channel, I invite you all to join us on an exciting journey. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything.
Warriors expected to sign 4 key free agents next week. The Golden State Warriors could be making some major moves next week, as they aim to add 4 seasoned veterans to their roster, once the situation with rising star Jonathan Kuminga is finally resolved. So far, the Warriors have remained quiet this offseason. The reason? They've been in a bit of a holding pattern, waiting to finalize a deal with the 22-year-old Kuminga. His contract situation has effectively put other roster decisions on pause, but that might all change very soon. Who's on the Warriors' radar? According to NBA insider Mark Stein, there's growing belief around the league that Golden State is lining up signings with Seth Curry, Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and Gary Payton too. The Warriors currently have 6 open roster spots, Stein reported. It's expected that they'll fill those with Horford, Melton, Payton, Seth Curry, second-round draft pick Will Richard, and of course Kuminga. If those deals go through, it would give the Dubs a far more complete squad, especially after spending most of the summer with just 9 players under contract. What these veterans bring to the table. Al Horford, fresh off winning a championship with the Boston Celtics in 2024, is still a valuable asset at 38. Last season, he averaged 9 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists per game, while shooting over 36% from 3. His ability to stretch the floor, stay composed under pressure, and lead from the bench could be crucial in stabilizing the second unit. DeAnthony Melton, just 27, is a two-way guard who fits perfectly into Golden State's backcourt rotation. Although injuries limited him to only 6 games last season, after being traded to the Brooklyn Nets, he still posted solid numbers: 10.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.8 assists per game. If healthy, Melton adds perimeter defense, energy, and reliable shooting. Gary Payton too is a fan favorite in the Bay Area for a reason. His elite defense, hustle, and chemistry with the core group make him an invaluable role player. He thrives guarding smaller guards and cutting to the basket, and has quietly improved his outside shot. And then there's Seth Curry, younger brother of Warriors superstar Stephen Curry. A career three-point specialist, Seth shot an impressive 45.6% from beyond the arc last season. Bringing him into the Warriors system, where shooting is king, could unlock even more from his game. Playing alongside his brother could also give him a unique spark and confidence that few other environments could offer. With training camp right around the corner, Golden State could have a much clearer picture of its roster within days. And if these deals go through, don't be surprised if the Warriors once again find themselves back in serious contention. A turning point for the Warriors off-season. For weeks, the Warriors front office has been under pressure to make moves in what many around the league have described as a make-or-break off-season. The team's early playoff exit last season, coupled with questions about their aging core and limited cap flexibility, has led to increasing calls for both short-term reinforcements and a clearer long-term direction. Assuming the Kuminga deal is finalized soon, Golden State would be in a position to quickly pivot into action. League sources indicate that internal discussions with the 4 veteran targets have been ongoing, and the team has made it clear they want these pieces in place before training camp begins. There's also been quiet optimism within the organization about Kuminga's role moving forward. After a breakout season in which he averaged 16.1 points, 5.2 rebounds, and shot nearly 54% from the field, the 22-year-old forward has emerged as one of the franchise's most promising young assets. While some speculated he might be moved in a blockbuster trade, it now appears more likely the Warriors are building around him as part of a 2-timeline strategy, balancing veteran leadership with developing talent. Internal shifts and locker room dynamics. Adding experienced names like Horford and Curry could significantly shift the locker room's dynamic. Horford, in particular, is known for his leadership and professionalism, traits that would complement the existing veteran presence of Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins. His arrival would likely ease the burden on Green defensively, especially in small ball lineups, while also giving head coach Steve Kerr more flexibility when managing minutes for older players. Seth Curry's inclusion would add an interesting wrinkle, not only from a strategic standpoint, but culturally as well. Teammates and coaches have long spoken about the value of chemistry within the Warriors system, and the on-court understanding between the Curry brothers could offer an immediate boost to the team's offensive flow. Meanwhile, Peyton II and Melton bring a defensive edge that Golden State has been missing. The Warriors ranked just 18th in defensive rating last season, a steep decline from their championship campaign in 2022. Bringing back Peyton, along with Melton's perimeter versatility, would allow the Warriors to throw multiple defensive looks at opposing guards, a critical advantage in the increasingly guard-heavy Western Conference. League and fan reactions. News of the potential signings has already sparked reactions around the league. Some rival executives view the moves as a clear attempt to make one last push with the current core, particularly with Steph Curry turning 37 next season. Others believe it's a smart hedge, stocking the roster with low-risk, high-IQ veterans who can either contribute immediately or be moved easily at the trade deadline. Among Warriors fans, the response has been largely positive, especially regarding Peyton II and Seth Curry. Many see their return as a way to reconnect with the team's identity: smart defense, unselfish ball movement, and three-point shooting. However, there are also concerns. Some fans question whether these signings are enough to truly compete with top-tier Western teams like the Nuggets, Mavericks, and Timberwolves, all of whom made significant strides last season. What comes next? If all goes according to plan, the Warriors are expected to announce their finalized training camp roster early next week. The front office's urgency reflects the reality that time is no longer on their side. With the Western Conference getting deeper and younger, Golden State needs to strike the right balance, and fast. The next few days could be the most pivotal of the Warriors' off-season. What began as a quiet summer may soon turn into a calculated late push to retool the roster around both legacy and potential. Elite NBA shooter emerges as new target for the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors may be closing in on another key free agent, and this one has a familiar last name. With several open roster spots still left to fill, largely due to the ongoing situation with Jonathan Kuminga, the Warriors are expected to make a series of moves in the coming days. And now, one of the most talked about possibilities is inching closer to reality: a potential reunion between Stephen and Seth Curry. While the idea of bringing the Curry brothers together has been floated before, it's now gaining real traction. According to NBA insider Mark Stein, there is a growing expectation across the league that the Warriors will also sign Seth Curry, along with a trio of Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton, and Gary Payton II. Golden State currently has 6 open roster spots, and the plan, according to league sources, is to fill them with Horford, Melton, Payton, second-round pick Will Richard, Kuminga, and Seth Curry. A long-awaited family reunion? Despite both carving out impressive NBA careers, the Curry brothers have never shared the court during a regular season game. That could soon change. Seth Curry, now 35, became a free agent this summer after the Charlotte Hornets opted not to extend his contract. Unlike his older brother, Seth went undrafted in 2013 despite strong college stints at Liberty and Duke. He began his professional career in the NBA G League, ironically, with the Warriors affiliate team. From there, Seth's path to the NBA was anything but easy. He had short stints with Memphis and Cleveland, both of whom waived him after just one appearance. His first real shot came with the Phoenix Suns, where he signed a 10-day contract and played in 2 games. But it wasn't until the 2015 to 2016 season in Sacramento that Curry began to find his rhythm. In 44 games with the Kings, he averaged 15.7 minutes per game and shot an impressive 45% from the field, drawing interest from multiple teams. His breakout came with the Dallas Mavericks, where he appeared in 70 games during the 2016-17 season and proved to be a reliable rotation piece, averaging 6.8 points per game while shooting 45% from the floor. From there, Seth went on to have solid roles in Portland, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and most recently Charlotte. Last season with the Hornets, he appeared in 68 games and averaged 6.5 points per game while shooting a stellar 48% from the field and 46% from beyond the arc, numbers that clearly show he's still one of the league's most efficient shooters. What Seth could bring to Golden State. Signing Seth Curry wouldn't just be a feel-good family moment, it would be a savvy basketball decision. He brings 10-plus years of NBA experience, elite-level shooting, a career 43% from 3, and a high basketball IQ. He's not just a catch-and-shoot option. Seth knows how to move off the ball, create space, and play within a system that emphasizes spacing and movement. In short, he's built for the Warriors' offense. His presence would also deepen Golden State's bench and give them another floor spacer who defenses can't ignore. That's especially important in a conference loaded with versatile defenders and switch-heavy schemes. Adding Seth would help unlock more space for Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, if retained, and others to operate. And while the media will undoubtedly spotlight the brothers' reunited storyline, behind that is a much bigger truth. Seth Curry is still an impact player, and he could be exactly what the Warriors need as they retool for another run at a title. Tyrese Haliburton shares a heartfelt tribute to Steph Curry. Indiana Pacers star Tyrese Haliburton recently opened up about his experience playing alongside Stephen Curry, offering high praise for the Warriors legend during a candid moment on a popular basketball podcast. There's no debate, Stephen Curry will go down as one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. Already hailed by many, like ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, as the greatest shooter God ever created, Curry's legacy is about more than just stats, records, and rings. It's also about the way he plays the game, the humility he carries, and the respect he's earned across the league. One of the latest voices to echo that admiration? Tyrese Haliburton, a rising star and one of the NBA's brightest young point guards. The best human I've ever met in basketball. Haliburton and Curry were teammates during the 2024 Summer Olympics, where Team USA claimed gold in an unforgettable final against France, on French soil. It was a game for the ages, with Curry stepping up in key moments to lead the team to victory. But for Haliburton, the most impactful part of the experience happened off the court. Speaking on the Old Man and the Three podcast, hosted by Tommy Alter, Haliburton didn't hold back when asked about Steph. "Steph is the best human being I've ever met in basketball," Haliburton said. "I've never met anyone better." He went on to explain just what makes Curry so special. "The thing is, you never hear anyone say a bad word about Steph, not as a person. He's just amazing. The way he remembers people, the way he cares. It's hard to describe how good he really is. I don't have the words." Coming from a player who's quickly becoming one of the NBA's top playmakers, the compliment carries serious weight. Learning from a legend. Beyond the praise, Haliburton shared how much he learned just by being around Curry in practice. Known for his intense pre-game warm-ups and tireless work ethic, Steph's behind-the-scenes dedication clearly left a mark on the 25-year-old. "I didn't get a ton of playing time, so I used that opportunity to observe, to learn," Haliburton said. "Steph was that guy for me. After every practice, I'd think, I need to train with Steph. I need to do what he's doing." And sure enough, he'd say, "Come on, Ty. Let's work." He brought me along with him. I can't speak highly enough about that. It wasn't just the workouts or the drills, it was the mindset, the consistency, the humility from a two-time MVP who's already secured his place in NBA history. And for Haliburton, that kind of leadership was just as powerful as anything Curry does with the ball in his hands. Looking ahead. As Haliburton continues his recovery from injury, he'll carry those lessons into the next chapter of his career. Meanwhile, Stephen Curry and the Warriors will once again aim for greatness, hoping to capture a fifth NBA title and further cement their dynasty. But no matter what happens next on the scoreboard, one thing is clear: for teammates, opponents, and rising stars like Haliburton, Steph Curry's legacy is already bigger than basketball. A model for the next generation. Haliburton's words echo a growing sentiment among younger players in the league. Stephen Curry is more than just a superstar, he's a standard. As the NBA evolves into a faster, more skill-driven game, many rising stars look to Curry not just for his shooting mechanics, but for how he balances success with humility. Haliburton's praise reinforces that idea. It's not only about what Steph does, it's about how he makes others better, often without saying much at all. His willingness to take Haliburton under his wing, even when he didn't have to, is the kind of leadership that defines dynasties. While Curry could have kept his focus solely on winning another gold medal, he instead used the opportunity to invest in the future of Team USA. For Haliburton, those moments matter. He didn't need to pull me in. He didn't need to teach me. But he did. And that's what separates Steph from so many others. You learn just by watching him. You learn how to carry yourself, how to work, how to treat people. Behind the Olympic gold. The 2024 Olympics were a defining moment for both Team USA and Curry himself. It was his first Olympic appearance, something that had long eluded him in his otherwise decorated career. And he made it count. In the gold medal game against France, Curry delivered when it mattered most, scoring efficiently and orchestrating the offense with his usual blend of creativity and calm. His performance silenced any lingering questions about his international resume. It was the final box to check in an already legendary career. But while the world saw the on-court brilliance, players like Haliburton witnessed something even more enduring: how greatness is maintained through consistency, empathy, and presence. Around the league, reactions pour in. Haliburton's comments have since sparked widespread discussion among fans and analysts. On social media, NBA players and coaches echoed similar sentiments, many highlighting their own experiences with Curry's generosity and professionalism. Former teammates have shared stories of Steph remembering ball boys by name, checking in on staff, or staying late after practice to help rookies. Coaches have praised his openness, even in the face of massive success. And younger players have often described him as someone who never made them feel small, even though his accomplishments tower over most. One anonymous NBA assistant coach was quoted as saying, "What Haliburton said. That's not surprising. I've worked with guys who were afraid to approach Steph, until he made the first move. That says everything." The bigger picture. As the Warriors prepare for another season, possibly their last real push with this core, Curry's impact continues to stretch beyond what any box score can capture. For Haliburton, those weeks with Team USA may shape how he leads the Pacers in the years to come. And for fans and players alike, his honest reflection serves as a reminder that true greatness isn't just about talent, it's about character. In the end, the legacy Steph Curry leaves behind won't only be measured in championships or three-point records, but in the number of lives he's influenced, quietly, consistently, and intentionally. And if Tyrese Haliburton's words are any indication, that legacy is already well secured. Here's a reimagined and humanized version in English, with stronger persuasive flow and emotional engagement, written in a style that could fit a compelling sports column or editorial. The tone aims to balance critical insight with narrative depth, focusing on Jimmy Butler's revenge arc, his fit in Golden State, and what it means for the team's outlook. The Golden State Warriors' most compelling star next season? Jimmy Butler, out for redemption. The Golden State Warriors might not have made any splashy signings this offseason, but their most powerful weapon heading into 2025-26 isn't a new addition. It's a man with something to prove. Jimmy Butler, now firmly settled in the Bay Area, is gearing up for what could be his most driven season yet. After being traded mid-season from the Miami Heat, a team where he gave everything, only to be let go, the six-time All-Star has every reason to turn next year into a personal mission. Call it a Luka Doncic-style revenge campaign. Call it unfinished business. Either way, Jimmy is coming. Butler's arrival already shifted the Warriors' identity. When Butler was traded to the Warriors at last season's deadline, the impact was almost immediate. His gritty mentality and two-way brilliance gave Golden State a much-needed edge, one that had been missing since their championship run in 2022. Statistically, he elevated his game in just a few short months. His scoring ticked up from 17.0 to 17.9 points per game. His assists and rebounds climbed, and most importantly, his free throw attempts, often a marker of his aggressive mindset, increased to 7.7 per game, showing just how much more engaged he was in the Warriors system. And then came the playoffs. Playoff Jimmy resurfaced with quiet intensity, putting up 19.2 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game in the postseason. It wasn't just production, it was presence. In big moments, he gave the Warriors a sense of control they hadn't felt since their championship peak. Now with an entire offseason to recover, build chemistry, and refine his role in Steve Kerr's system, Butler isn't just a valuable piece. He could be the emotional engine of this team. A $121 million contract and a chip on his shoulder. Make no mistake, Jimmy Butler didn't land in Golden State by chance. Miami gave up on him. Whether it was age, injury concerns, or a philosophical shift, the Heat front office made the choice to move on. And that's the kind of slight Butler has never forgotten. He's wired for moments like these. When doubted, he doubles down. When discarded, he dominates. And now, with a fresh 3-year, $121 million contract in hand and a chance to rewrite the final chapters of his career in a storied franchise, the motivation runs deeper than ever. Expect Jimmy to play with something few stars in the league have, a real reason. Butler's fire might not be enough, yet. As promising as Butler's trajectory is, it's also fair to acknowledge the reality. The Warriors roster heading into next season isn't stronger than it was a year ago. Kevin Looney's departure to the Pelicans took away a stabilizing presence in the paint and in the locker room. And the unresolved situation surrounding Jonathan Kuminga, a young talent whose future remains unclear, has tied up crucial cap flexibility. If the Warriors fail to extend or move Kuminga by October 1st, they risk entering the season with an incomplete, unbalanced rotation, forcing them to scramble for veteran free agents to plug gaps instead of building with intent. What's at stake for Golden State? The 2025-26 season feels like a tipping point for the Warriors. Steph Curry is still elite, but time is catching up. Draymond Green's prime is behind him. Klay Thompson's role has shifted. And now, Jimmy Butler represents something new: urgency. He won't wait for a long rebuild. He came to compete, to win, and to show Pat Riley, the league, and anyone else who doubted him that he's far from finished. So while the Warriors may not be title favorites on paper, they do have something no spreadsheet can calculate: a star with a score to settle. And if we've learned anything from Jimmy Butler over the years, it's this: when he's motivated, he doesn't just change games, he changes seasons. Jimmy Butler's revenge season could be Golden State's X factor. The Golden State Warriors may not have made splashy moves in the offseason, but they're entering the 2025-26 campaign with a player who has every reason to play with fire: Jimmy Butler. After arriving from Miami at last season's trade deadline, Butler gave Golden State a clear competitive edge. Despite a playoff exit that came earlier than hoped, Butler quickly became a difference-maker, raising his averages across the board and injecting urgency and intensity into a team that at times felt stale. His arrival didn't just improve the box score, it changed the locker room. And now, with a full offseason to recover, train, and integrate fully into Steve Kerr's system, Butler is expected to elevate his game even further. Proving Miami wrong, more than motivation. Butler's trade from the Miami Heat wasn't just a basketball transaction, it was personal. He had been the face of the franchise, carried them through deep playoff runs, and embodied the culture that Miami prides itself on. But the front office chose to move on. That decision, whether based on age, long-term planning, or salary concerns, didn't sit quietly with Butler. The veteran forward has always drawn energy from doubt, and being traded by the team he gave everything to is likely fueling what could become a standout season. His numbers in Golden State were solid from the jump. He increased his scoring, his playmaking, and his trips to the free throw line. But perhaps most importantly, he fit. He brought the kind of grit and poise that Golden State's roster was starting to lack. Now he enters the new season rested, fully engaged, and ready to lead alongside Steph and Curry, both veterans with titles, pride, and something left to prove. Roster concerns still linger. Despite Butler's presence, the Warriors face real challenges heading into 2025-26. Their roster is aging, and they've lost key contributors without finding clear replacements. Most notably, Kevin Looney's departure leaves a gap in physicality and experience in the frontcourt. The situation surrounding Jonathan Kuminga only adds to the uncertainty. Contract talks remain unresolved, and if a deal isn't reached by October 1st, Kuminga may accept a qualifying offer and head toward unrestricted free agency in 2026. Losing a young, athletic piece like him, or simply entering the season with tension around his role, could disrupt team dynamics. While Butler provides leadership, intensity, and production, he can't solve every problem alone. Golden State still needs a balanced roster that can sustain the grind of a full season, and answer when the playoffs demand more than one star. Aging core, uncertain depth. The core of Curry, Butler, Draymond Green, and potentially Klay Thompson brings experience, but not without risk. Injuries, decline in athleticism, and heavy minutes take their toll. Younger, deeper Western Conference teams will test their legs early and often. Bench production also remains a question mark. While some promising young players could step up, there's no clear indication that the Warriors have the depth needed to contend with the likes of Denver, Oklahoma City, or even Sacramento over a 7-game series. This puts pressure on the front office. If they can't make strategic additions or resolve key contract disputes, Golden State may find itself relying too heavily on star power and running into the same postseason limitations. A defining season for Butler and Golden State. Butler's motivations are clear. He's in Golden State to compete, to lead, and to win. He's in search of more than personal validation. He's after another title, and the chance to cement his place among the game's greats. But for this mission to succeed, he needs alignment, within the roster, within the system, and from the organization itself. The 2025-26 season will be about more than stats or standings. It will be a test of the Warriors' identity, of whether they are still clinging to the past or building something new with urgency and intent. And for Jimmy Butler, it will be about proving once again that writing him off is never a wise decision.